Hi, this is Neve Arthur of the Stay at Home Family, and I'm a little nervous about making this video today because I'm going to tell you one of the things that has held me back the most in life and one of the biggest kind of Achilles heels that I have. And that is that I've always thought of myself as a worrier. You know, worry has been a huge presence in my life. And, you know, what is worry? Worry is just when you take a possible negative outcome and you feel and act as though that is what is going to happen in any given situation. So you just focus on what could possibly go wrong and think about that all the time. Now the thing to remember is that worry will physically damage you. It is something that if you carry around a lot of worry, it can actually make you sick. It's known to actually affect your stomach and your digestive system and make you actually very unhealthy. And this is something that has caused me massive health problems in the past. But I realized that one of the worst things about it is that it boxes you in. Because when you're worrying, a lot of people, in order to cope with worry, they don't do something. So they go, okay, if I do this thing, here's a negative outcome and here's a positive outcome. And the negative outcome scares them so much that they don't do it at all. So they end up boxing themselves in further and further and further, and you can end up, you know, like an agoraphobic, trapped in your own house because you're so afraid to leave because something could go wrong. But that is no way to live life, right? So I've discovered that a few simple little things would help to relieve my worry and would help me to become a more and more courageous person. And, well, the number one thing was to stop calling myself a worrywart. Because, you know, well, what is courage? Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is doing something even when you are afraid. So I started to look for the examples in my life where I'd done something even when I was afraid and go, wow, I am one courageous chick. You know, and once I started to realize that I had tons of examples of courage, just as I had tons of examples that I was a worrier, I also had tons of examples that I was really courageous. So I started to think of myself as a courageous person. Now, the second thing that I did about worry was I started to break old thought patterns. So it's like a train, you know, like, so if your brain is used to worry, it means that when you think of possible outcomes, your brain goes straight to the negative one because it's so used to doing that. You've done it time and time and time and time again until you've hardwired your brain. Well, you can't actually ever hardwire your brain, it's always changeable, but until you've made a really strong connection in your brain to thinking about the future and having it be a negative outcome that you see. So the best thing that you can do is not think about it. You know, if you always go straight to that negative outcome, if you don't think about your future, what will happen is that you're not going to be making that wiring stronger. It's going to weaken the wiring because you're not using it. So first thing you do is you start to distract yourself. So you see yourself going into a worry pattern and you distract yourself. You go watch a movie, you go read a book, you go do something that makes you think about somebody else and not you. Okay, so if you're awake in the middle of the night worrying, just turn on the damn light and read a book. Do something that puts your brain into someone else's story and not your own. And if it's a positive story, even better. That's the best thing you can do. You can read personal development books. That's going to help even more. So once you've weakened this worry pattern, the next thing that you can do is start to put in the possibility of a positive pattern. So you've weakened this negative thing, and now when you start to think about your future, you can start to go, well, I'm a courageous person, which means I can do this, which means that the positive outcome is just as likely as the negative outcome. And at this point now, you can allow yourself to think about the negative outcome and really think about it in terms of how it would actually feel. And you'll realize that it's probably not as bad as your worry has been leading you to believe. You can also think about the positive outcome and really feel that and feel how positive it is and realize that it is worth the risk to go for something positive even if there's a negative possible outcome, because the negative outcome is probably not that bad. It's not going to result in your death, more than likely. If it is, maybe you shouldn't do it. But if it's not going to result in your death or in being kicked out into the streets, then it's not that bad. It's something you will get over. And again, think of examples of where you've had something maybe not that great happen in the past and you've gotten over it and you've dealt with it and you've been just fine. And it'll help you realize that even if you do hit that negative outcome, you will be fine. And then you can really focus your efforts on that positive outcome. Okay, so you've weakened the negative association, you've put in the possibility of a positive rewiring, and then you emphasize this by thinking and thinking and thinking about how cool it's going to be when you hit that positive outcome. And you think of yourself as a courageous person and you move forward with courage. Then the next thing you do is take a step. So you move in the direction of your fear. You do one little thing every day that moves you towards your positive outcome. And, yes, maybe that means you're also moving in the direction of a possible negative outcome, but you have to move. Because if you stay, nothing changes. If you don't do anything, nothing changes. It means that you're trapped forever and ever and ever in this little box that you're creating for yourself. So that is how I've slowly moved past worry. It did take, me realizing that it was physically damaging me before I was able to say, this is not okay. But worry is not okay. Worry will damage you, it will put you in a box, and it'll make you sick. So do it. Take the action that will remove worry from your life. It's not going to remove it entirely, but it's going to help you become a courageous person and go after the things you really want in life. So tell me in the comments below, what is it that you can do today to help move you in the direction of the things that you want and to help alleviate the worry in your life and help you become a more courageous person? Or any examples of how you've done this in the past. I'd love to hear more from you, and really looking forward to learning more about each other.